Alright, what's up everybody, it's Kami, welcome back to another JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Diamond is Unbreakable anime episode review. Today we're on episode 35, Bites of Dust Part 1, and let me use my mic real quick. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that guys, but first off, I want to say the growth on my channel this week has been ridiculous. I'm going to get into the review shortly, but I was at around 600 subscribers on Monday, and it is now Friday, and I'm over 900, so thank you guys so much. I really appreciate all the help and all the support from everybody. You guys mean a lot to me. Now let's go into today's episode. So it's Bites of Dust Part 1, and I was really excited for this episode, and it definitely did not fail to satisfy. David Production once again have been on their shit. So we have the episode starting with Kira's dad flying around the town, and he's panicking his shit because he notices Raimi with Rohan and Koichi, and he sees that they're investigating the pictures of Kosaku and that they're, onto him, and that they found out who Hayato and who Kosaku was. So he's like freaking out, and he flies off, and then we get a close in with Raimi and Rohan and Koichi talking about investigating Hayato's house. So then it cuts back to Shinobu looking for Hayato as she walks into the bathroom, and Kira comes out, and she notices that his fingers are bleeding and stuff, and she's like, oh, let me get a band-aid for you. And she goes to open the closet for them. I guess it was their little supply closet, and she goes to grab a band-aid, and then Kira just pushes his hand over her, and he's like, no, I can do it myself, thank you. And she's like, oh, well, you look all concerned and stuff, and he's like, no, I'll be all right, can you go downstairs and make me some tea? And she's like, yeah, sure, why not? So and she leaves the bathroom, and then it just zooms into the closet, and it's just Hayato's dead body just laying there. And then Kira starts to panic, and then we get a cut back to Koichi at Josuke's house, showing him the picture of Hayato and Kosaku, saying that at 8:30 tomorrow morning they were going to go check his house with Rohan, and to invite Okuyasu, and that Koichi was going to call Jotaro and tell him. So Josuke's like, all right, 8:30 tomorrow, got it, I'm going to be late for school. And then we go back to Kira inside of the bathroom, and it gives us a flashback of him exploding Hayato. And then his dad flies into the bathroom, and he notices Kira's biting his nails like crazy, which I'm kind of upset about this because they did censor him biting his nail. Like, they put the little black line over it. And I'm kind of disappointed because in the manga, when they show it, when they show him biting his nails, he has this thing in kanji written on his nail with the blood from his finger, because his fingers are bleeding from him biting them so hard. And I believe it says victory or something like that. And then Kira's freaking out and shit, and his dad is like, no, you have to like leave Morio, they're gonna find you, they're gonna come investigate the house tomorrow, they already know who Hayato is. And then Kira just grabs his dad's picture, and he starts freaking out. He's like, nah man, I'm not going to leave Morio. And he's still panicking and shit. He's like, I'm not gonna leave my peace, I'm not gonna live my life in fear anymore. And as soon as he says this, the arrow flies out of his dad's little picture frame, and it just stabs all the way through his arm, and it goes all the way up, and then it like stabs through his neck and shit, and it like freaks out, and he's like, oh, what the hell? And then it just activates Bites the Dust, and we see it cut to the next morning, which is like the most important shit ever. And Shinobu's going in to walk in. She's walking into Hayato's room to go wake him up, and Hayato's just looking out the window, saying he felt really bothered, I guess, about the night before. I believe he says something about feeling fear. And Shinobu's just like, oh, you're already awake. So she goes downstairs, and then Hayato goes downstairs to go get breakfast. And then we see Kira walk in with his hair slicked back now, with his new haircut, looking really fresh. I like how they made it more white than it is gray, because I just think that the white hair looks cooler with his anime design, with the way he's like, drawn and stuff. So I really like how that looks. And then Kira's just, being really carefree and relaxed and shit, and he really doesn't care about anything that's going on. And he just walks up to a mirror, and he's brushing his hair back, and I don't know why Shinobu didn't question why his hair looked like that, because even though he had his hair, he still has like the black streaks in his hair, because his hair's not completely white now. But I think it's weird that nobody questions why his hair looks so different all of a sudden, just because he combed it back. It's like, I guess his hair was white under. I'm not sure how that exactly works. That's the only thing that doesn't make sense to me, but whatever. You guys don't like when I think too hard about anime and shit, so I'm not going to think too hard about it. And then the phone starts ringing. Shinobu's yelling at Hayato to go answer it, and she's like, oh, so you're just not going to say anything? And she slips on the rug, and drops her coffee pot, and the coffee spills all over the table and stuff. And she's all pissed at Hayato, and then Kira's like, no, I can do this. I'll go and I'll answer the phone. He answers the phone, and he's like, oh, it's just the wrong number. Nothing to worry about. We're all a family. There's no need to fight. I'll buy you a new pot. He's being really, like, relaxed now after seeing Kira be so panicky, I guess, lately. And then he goes and he leans in to give Shinobu a goodbye kiss. And he's like, we're all family now, so we're going to act like family. No more arguments. It's too early in the morning to be fighting. And then he leaves. And then Hayato walks out thinking that Kira's, finally gone and shit. And then Kira just like, LMAO, no. And he puts his hat on top of Hayato's head. And he's like, let's walk to school. And we'll walk halfway. So Hayato's, going to school, and Kira's going to go to his job. And then as Kira's walking with him, he tells him that his name is Kira Yoshikage, and that he's planted his bomb inside of him. Killer Queen bites the dust, and that no matter what, he was now invincible, and that nobody else could rival his ability. So Hayato's like walking, continuing his walk to school and stuff, and Kira had already disappeared. And then we see Rohan pull up in his car, and he hops out, and a couple people were complaining because they did color swap Rohan's outfit. It's normally white, and now it's like a dark green. I don't mind the color swap. You guys really bitch about way too many non-important things. Don't complain about color swaps so much. It's like, yeah, you might have liked the color in the manga, but it's not the biggest deal, all right? We're not going to lose sleep. At least I'm not going to lose sleep over Rohan wearing green instead of wearing white. It's not that big of a deal. He still looks good. So Rohan comes out with the car, and he's like, excuse me, are you Hayato? And Hayato's being like really quiet and shit, and he's kind of like freaking out. And then he shows him the picture he has of Hayato and Kosaku. He goes, this guy's your dad. And Hayato starts to like run off, so Rohan uses Heaven's Door, and he starts to read his pages to try and investigate, the little boy, because he's like, okay, this is definitely suspicious. Why would he just start to run away and stuff? And he finds a warning not to continue reading. So Rohan flips the page out of curiosity, because he's like, this is really strange. And he finds out about the next couple of events that would follow, being the old man walking by with his fly down and a bunch of girls laughing at him. And then it started to rain, and then it started to rain. And then he reads the next page, and it mentions the Pepsi sign getting struck by lightning. And then Rohan looks up, and he checks his watch to check the time. And he looks up at the Pepsi sign, and the Pepsi sign gets struck by lightning at the exact specified time. And Rohan is just like, okay, there's no way this guy is normal. This has to be some type of stand ability. This is way too strange. And Rohan continues to read the pages, finding out that Hayato's dad is Kira Yoshikage, and that he killed people, and he's disguising himself as Kosaku. So Rohan's like, oh yes, let's go. I finally found out who Kira is. And then right when Rohan thinks he wins, he flips to the next page, and then he reads Kira has killed Rohan Kishibe, and he's like, what? And then Killer Queen flips out of Hayato's page, and it goes into Rohan's eye, and he's like, oh, I've activated my third bomb. Bites the dust. It is now planted inside of you. And Rohan like flies back from his car, and he's like stuck in front of this building and shit, and he's like bleeding from his back, and it's all dramatic. And he's like, I have to tell Koichi. Koichi was going to be here soon. It's almost 8:30. And he sees Koichi down the street with Jotaro. And as he goes to go talk to them, and he's like very, very weakened from having this injury in his back now. And he can barely speak and shit. And he's like, Koichi. And then Kira activates, bites the dust, and he blows up. And Hayato sees it, and he starts freaking out. And he's like screaming and shit. And then it zooms into his eye. And then through his pupil, we just see him waking up in bed, and the morning repeats, and Bites the Dust is activated. This was like the sickest shit. The way they just have it transition is so smooth. I liked it so much with the music in the background and stuff. It was great. And then, like I said, since it's repeating the events from the morning, Shinobu walks in to wake up Hayato. Hayato's just standing there. Hayato walks down the stairs. He's like, wait, this has happened before. He's sitting down at the table. He sees Shinobu's about to slip. He grabs the coffee pot, and then she goes and answers the phone. And then Kira's like, oh, so you're acting like you've already experienced this. And then he tells him that his Killer Queen is invincible, that he had planted it in him, and that no matter what he tried to do, he couldn't find anybody to help him. And that no matter what he tried to do, he wouldn't escape Kira's plan, and that they were going to just live peacefully. And Akira was indeed invincible, and he has Bites the Dust planted inside of Hayato. And then the episode just ends, and it's just like, it's so good. It was so good. I was hoping they would end it with Rohan exploding, but the way they paced this was a lot faster than I had expected. So they did a really good job with today's episode. Of course, you know, everything looked great. The music was really great. You know, all the transitions between the scenes, them showing off Bites of Dust was amazing. It was amazing. It was extremely hype. This has been a really great episode of Diamond is Unbreakable. I've been waiting for this episode for a long time because this is one of my favorite parts in the JoJo manga just in general. I really like Bites of Dust. So I've been waiting for this to get animated for a while, and now it's finally animated, and it's really good. So go ahead and watch today's episode, guys, if you haven't already by the time you're watching this video. It was really fucking good. I'm satisfied beyond belief. And like always, if you're new to the channel, go ahead and feel free to subscribe. I'll be uploading JoJo's Bizarre Adventure content on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, occasionally Sundays. And if I feel like it or have an extra video lying around, I might upload, you know, on Tuesdays or Thursdays, maybe Saturdays. It just depends on when I have videos, but there will always be a guaranteed upload on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Also, I made a straw poll for a vote for an all-star battle playthrough, and it looks like I'm going to be doing one, but it's not going to be your traditional just like let's play a playthrough. I'm going to, you know, edit it up kind of differently. It'll kind of be like my Heritage to the Future compilation, but just in smaller parts, of course, and it won't just be like a one-shot thing. It'll be, you know, going through the story of the game. So if you guys are excited for that, go ahead and, you know, leave a comment down below. Like always, leave a like on the video, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.